welcome to the Startup Central. I'm Nayantara Rai, working from home, as all of you must also be doing. Today, I have a very special guest. He set up Amazon India. He's been the technical advisor to Jeff Bezos himself. I think you've guessed my next guest. It's Amit Agarwal, the top boss of Amazon India, joining us via Skype. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from San Francisco, because Amit got stuck over there when California went into the lockdown moment. Amit, thanks so much for joining us here on Startup Central. I know you had to wake up extra early for this interview, so we really, really appreciate it. It must be really tough for you to be in San Francisco, at the forefront of all the operations for Amazon in India. I know you've personally been interacting with the government, the state governments, the center, all of that. How's it been?
I think, first of all, I just want to start with hoping that you, your audience, the viewers out there are safe and healthy. I think these are very unprecedented times for all of us. It's unprecedented for all of us. All of us are working round the clock to ensure, firstly, that we are safe, our families are safe, our colleagues, our employees are safe. And at the same time, at Amazon, we've been single-mindedly focused on a most important responsibility after safety, which is to get essentials to our customers. So, my whole team is working around the clock, and that's not any different for me either. I've been very fortunate to be safe, and I've been able to, because all of us are working home, pretty much all of us are the same medium, just work India hours and log in from here and just make sure that we are on top of this.
Of course, there's one thing that we've all learned in 2020 is that you can take nothing, absolutely nothing for granted. So here's hoping, Amit, that you, your team back home in India, in the United States, in Seattle, everyone is safe. And having said that, Amit, how are you navigating the lockdown in India? It must be particularly tough because you can't be here. You're locked out of India in a sense. Plus, Amazon, with its massive operations in the country, I'm sure you get flooded with the same question. When will Amazon start delivering the way it used to? And let's begin by talking about the essentials. When will Amazon be able to, start delivering the essentials? When can people start getting their parcels?
I think just to firstly give some context, as I said, this is extraordinary times for all of us. The first and foremost priority and the responsibility for each one of us in India, and not just in India, everywhere in the world, has to be to stop the spread of the virus. This is like one of those moments where each one of us have to think beyond ourselves, beyond our organizations, beyond even our country, and act collectively in the world, on this planet, to make sure that happens. So in that sense, all of us have the same focus pretty much everywhere, and this is very rare for humanity in some sense. The second bit is it's very heartening to see very clear direction from the Honorable Prime Minister, from the government, through this lockdown on why this is so important. And staying at home, being safe, maintaining all the hygiene best practices is the best thing for all of us to do our bit at this time of the need. For Amazon, one of the most critical needs we are responsible for is to make sure that we can get essentials to our customers and make sure that they can maintain social distancing and be safe. And e-commerce, incidentally, is probably one of the safer ways to satisfy the need. It minimizes the interaction between our employees, allows them to be safe, and the customer, and allows us to concentrate our best practices for maintaining hygiene and sanitation to a fixed number of locations and serve all customers. So it's very scalable. It's extremely safe. And it was very important and heartening to see the Honorable Prime Minister recognize e-commerce as a provider as being essential at this point in time to serve that. Now, to your question on what we are doing, as I said, the first priority is that we keep our employees safe, and we have implemented all the recommended best practices. We are as a team meeting daily, working closely with the central government, with the state government, with health experts to make sure that every day we are adapting to any new information out there to ensure safety of our employees, of our associates, of our facilities, maintaining the right level of hygiene, sanitation, social distancing rules in everything that we do. And pretty much all of us are working home, so that allows us to ensure that we keep remain connected. As far as delivering essentials goes, we are working very closely with the central government to establish guidelines and operating rules so that we can do that. We are working closely with the state governments to get clearances. We are working with the local authorities, local law enforcement authorities to get curfew passes. Sometimes people don't realize that during these unprecedented times, there's a lot of things that need to be lined up that we cannot expect the government machinery or companies to have it on backup. It is being invented as we go. Each one of us is learning as we go, but people are working very closely with each other, and it's very exciting to see that. Now, once we get our operations up and running in any city, we are also prioritizing the orders that have already been placed before we take on new orders. That's just the right thing for us to do. So all of these and many more things have to come together for us to deliver as customers expect of Amazon to do. Always in stock, always on time, delivering fast, and we are slowly and steadily trying to light up city at a time, pin code at a time. I am very heartened by the trust that customers have
Of
put in
course,
us. I get emails every day, and we'll just have to be patient. We have already started cities,
right.
and we are continuously improving our service.
Because that's very heartening to know that you're getting back up on your feet, starting your operations. So, do you want to tell our viewers where Amazon is back up and running? In which all cities is that happening? How fast do you think you'll be able to scale it up?
So we have, I would say the best way to find it out is to go to our website. It's a very fluid situation. We have made significant progress in getting clearances in most of the larger states to ensure that we can start our operations. As I said, we also have to work district by district to ensure that the local law enforcement authorities know that we are starting, and we have curfew passes because we don't want our delivery associates to be at risk when they leave out to deliver those items to our customers. And we are constantly letting customers know when we start in that area. So we have already started. We have already started delivering existing orders. We are clearing up a backlog. In some cities, we have already started taking new orders. So I would say the customers should go to the website, and that would be the best way for them to find out what the latest situation.
And the other thing I have to ask you is about safety. On the day the Prime Minister actually announced the lockdown, on his Twitter handle, the Home Minister spoken about it. There have been various circulars and all of that about how delivery is the way to go. I know you touched upon that earlier in the interview. But, for everybody who's watching you at the moment, Amit, this is a disease that also spreads because of contact. You've talked about contactless delivery. How are you ensuring that? And simultaneously, while it's very heartening that you're scaling up and, like you said, it's the time for all of humanity to come together, how are you making sure that your employees are safe?
Yeah, that's a very important question, and which is why I reiterated that safety has to be the first priority. We have to keep ourselves safe, and we have to keep others safe. We are following the World Health Organization guidelines. We are following the best practice and guidelines prescribed by the government, and making sure that we put a very high bar before we start anything to ensure that our operations are safe. It goes all the way from maintaining a high degree of awareness about the hygiene best practices, from washing hands to sanitization, greater degree of sanitization in all our facilities. We have changed all our operating procedures in our fulfillment centers, our delivery stations, and at the time of delivery to ensure that the associates maintain at least 2 meters of social distancing. So you can imagine that that significantly reduces the throughput at which we can serve, and hence the capacity reduces considerably to maintain that. But that's the more important thing to do. And unfortunately, that would take time for us to increase capacity because the safety part of it is more important at this moment. In trying to deliver the products to our customers, we made a few changes. Our delivery associates again maintained the social distancing rule. They would keep the box, step away 2 meters. The customer pick up the box. We have disabled all payment on delivery options so that we can minimize any cash, credit, POS transactions at the doorstep. We have also cancelled return pickups, but at the same time extended the return pickup windows. We want to be aware that customers do have legitimate reasons to return products, and we would get to that once we have prioritized the essential products and once we are open to delivering the other products. So we're making a lot of these changes. Our goal is to minimize contact, keep our customers safe, keep our delivery associates safe, and we are following all the best practices and guidelines that we know of today. And again, we are adapting every single day. This is evolving every single day.
Oh, it has to be work in progress. COVID is clearly the black swan of 2020. Nobody could have prepared for it. Whatever you do, you will still be underprepared for it. But when you're saying that you're categorizing essential goods, I would imagine that's also an evolving situation. For example, the government is figuring out every day as well, right, that what are essential items. On day one, it didn't have sanitary napkins, for example, as essential items. So what I also want to understand from you is how are you doing it? Is it what the government has categorized? Or how does this actually work? And I'm asking this on behalf of all the Amazon consumers because they must be thinking, I'm trying to buy, let's say, cotton. I'm just using an example, or a light bulb. How is this not an essential item? Am I supposed to sit in the dark?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question. Every customer, every family has to determine for itself what is essential for them at that given moment, right? I mean, we are working from home, our kids are home. It's like our home has become the school, our home has become the workplace, and then we have our personal lives to lead. And hence, you might find at a point in time something breaks in your home. Maybe the mixer grinder is becoming an essential because without that, you cannot get the food ready for your kids. At the same time, I said there is a higher purpose at hand here. We need to first be safe. We need to get past to this most sensitive period where the spread risk is the highest. And if we all bear a little bit of discomfort and do our bit to focus on the things that are truly the most important thing, follow the guidelines that the government has prescribed, stay indoors, keep ourselves focused on the most important priority to flatten the spread curve, I think we will come out at a far better place than if we were focused about additional convenience at this point in time. And I as a person that's involved in the same situation with two kids and family all at home with different kinds of things popping up with essentials, I think I recognize and acknowledge that this is difficult periods for our customers. But I also appreciate why the government is asking us to take a very conservative look at what truly is essential in this initial period. And this will change. This will be fluid. We will all learn as we go. Right now, we need to minimize the number of interactions we do, flatten the curve. And luckily for e-commerce, that is probably the most scalable and the safest way to minimize the number of interactions between customers and employees to get the essential needs served. So we need to get our basic services up and running for delivering the essentials with predictability everywhere that we serve as priority one and ensure that everybody is safe. And we'll get to the rest of the stuff as we learn together.
And when you do the basic services, Amit, can I ask you for initial trends? Because it'll be very interesting to know what are Indians considering to be essential when they're shopping on Amazon? What have you noticed? What have been the trends?
Again, I think right now we have been focused on starting our operations, which means that, as I said, implementing all the procedures and all the facilities and the process parts that we have. and working with the local state authorities and the governments to get curfew passes and permissions to operate. We literally have to go district by district to ensure that we have a pass that we can provide to our employees to operate. And this is a Herculean task. Literally, our force is on the ground 24 by 7, working through the details to make sure that we can get this up and running. And not just us, I think every e-commerce company out there is doing its bit to help India at this point in time. And the kinds of
About
things
this.
that
In
customers
fact, Amit,
expect.
you have tweeted about this. In fact, Amit, you've tweeted about this and also publicly stated that it would help if the government of India would allow uniform passes. At least state-wise, you should have a uniform pass, or if you could have a pan-India curfew pass. All of you have been having stakeholder meetings at the Prime Minister's office, the Commerce Ministry, Finance Ministry. That would really help in a situation like this too. Are you getting positive signals?
I think everybody is trying their best. As I said, all of us are learning as we go. It's not easy to change, on a drop of a hat, the machinery that exists out there. We have made significant progress. There's a lot of support. There's a lot of acknowledgement. There's a lot to do yet. So it is something that, and as we get passes, we need to also make sure that we can safely bring labor back and make sure that they are able to operate safely and deliver. So there's a lot to be done. On the trends that you were asking, clearly customers are first interested in getting their food, grocery stocked up. And between Amazon Fresh and Amazon Pantry, we are very focused on ensuring that we provide that service. So from fresh vegetables to their staples, obviously are the more important needs that we are seeing customers place on Amazon.
Yes, I would imagine fruit and groceries and fresh would be the most important ones, and masks, hand washes, sanitizers. I'm sure those sales are also, clocking very high numbers. But Amit, I think something I'm going to ask on behalf of the consumers. Amazon is also about the fantastic experience you have, right? Like I said, COVID, Black Swan. There's a big fear, how will businesses emerge out of this? Will Amazon stay as committed to India as it has been in the past? We don't have to talk numbers. We don't talk about investment numbers if you don't want to. But I just want to get a sense from you, because every business globally will need to realign. How crucial will India be for Amazon going forward?
Well, I think, short-term perturbations don't change your long-term relationships and commitment. We are as committed as ever. At this point in time, the responsibility for each one of us, every company out there, has to be to flatten the curve, to slow the spread. Before we can think about how businesses scale back, we need to deal with the here and now priority. And I'm so humbled that customers are looking upon us more than ever to be the place that can provide them with the essential needs at their most critical time of need. And as a company, as an employee, it's very energizing to see that we are playing our bit in this fight against COVID. The team is super energized. The team feels very responsible for this huge trust that customers have placed in us. And so that's what our topmost priority right now is: safety and providing customers with essentials. And we are confident and absolutely sure that we'll all get through this together as a country, as humanity.
While the delivery business, the e-commerce business of this aspect would have taken a big hit for obvious reasons, Amit, on the flip side, I'm sure, the numbers, for example, by Amazon Prime, Audible, are doing very well. Is there an equal focus to make sure that, when people are stuck at home, they're locked down, they have better entertainment, more entertainment? Can you give us any insights on that?
Yeah, sure. I think, obviously kids are at home. We are working from home. And And while there's a lot of stress and anxiety, it's also important for people to remain positive. It's also important for people to be feel lightened by all of this. So we have done a few things. We have made several ebooks available for free to our customers so that they can read at home. We have made several kid shows available for free to all customers, even if they don't have Prime membership, so that they can keep their kids entertained and engaged. AWS, our web services arm, is working with many of their customer partners and other associations to enable distance learning solutions so that again kids can be educated and they can continue their learning. We've done a few things as an industry. Prime Video, along with other digital industry players, have agreed to reduce the bit rate at which we transfer our content from high definition to standard definition and standard definition to 480 bps, so that we don't adversely impact the cellular network. That's the backbone left for us to remain in touch and be connected. It's very important for us. We respect the resources that we have, and we have made that change as well. So we're doing a bunch of things to keep customers safe at home, to keep them engaged. And then there's a lot of efforts out there that's going on. So we recently just launched our campaign to raise 100 crores in support for PM Cares Fund and also many of our NGO partners, Oxfam, Akshay Pratya, Habitat for Humanity, United Way. And what we're doing is we are matching every employee donation 100%. And we are also topping up every customer donation by 10%. So I would encourage people to just go and give. That's a little bit that you can do while we do our bit to keep you at home, to keep you safe, to keep you entertained. I would encourage every customer to go out there and give. You can go on Amazon, the app, the website, wherever you feel comfortable, and give. And many of these organizations and the funds are doing their bit to sort of make people comfortable during this time of crisis.
I thought it was another brilliant video that you had shared, how all the startup community is coming together, how you actually saluted the delivery boys. They're the new warriors, the foot soldiers that we have at COVID-19. I really do consider them to be foot soldiers. Amit, I'll make this my final question because I know we're running out of time. And let's end it on a high note in the sense of optimism. Of course, we'll get through this and all of that, but everyone gets frustrated. And I'm sure for you, you have to regularly over-communicate with your team, keep their morale high. But you also must be having to go to someone. So let's end it with this. If any town halls with Jeff Bezos, any pearls of wisdom he's given you, how to get through COVID-19 that you'd like to share with us. He's considered to be the world's best salesman. Whatever he says, I'm sure our viewers will also want to know.
Well, I think all of us are social distancing might have increased the physical distance, but people are closer than ever. And it's very exciting and heartening to see that. Since you asked on a positive note, I'm so inspired by what our delivery associates, by what our customer service associates, as the foot soldiers you said, we call them everyday heroes, are doing. And being able to communicate to them some of the inspiring stories our customers are forwarding me on how we are making a little bit of difference in their lives at this point of time. Our employees are connected. We have virtual happy hours, to just a hat day when we are having a video conference, to games, and even we have had performances, dance performances. People have tried their hand at singing. So I think people are finding their own individual way to communicate, to keep each other positive, optimistic. I think this is a great time where people are also connecting with their families and realizing that we need to be so thankful about just what we have, our health, the teams that we have, the work that we do. So I'm very hopeful that we will all come out of this together, and not just come out of it together. We'll just come out, we're just better human beings, appreciating a lot of things that we have, and at the same time, just more resilient and stronger.
Of course, you all have to be more resilient and stronger. And I love this concept of virtual happy hours and karaoke with the work team. I think I'll float that idea internally. But Amit Agarwal, I'd like to thank you for taking the time out to be a part of this program on ET Now. Here's wishing you and everyone at Amazon and all your families all the very best. Please stay safe.
Same to you guys. Please take care. Be safe. Thank you.